Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It's your boys back in action. You already know we got a new one we're ready to talk about. We're going to be going in on that new cartoon, Invincible. And the man who's going to talk about it with me, the one, the only, Phantom D Saint. How goes it with you this weekend?
Hey, all Phantom D saying here, just like DJ. We keep on hearing people talking about Invincible. And we're like, oh, we should probably just check this out, talk about it the following Saturday. And here we are. Damn, why haven't we been watching this show since it first premiered, DJ?
Oh man, I don't know. We're gonna have to find it. We're gonna get into it. What's up? We got Celebrity Bikini out there. Peter Griffin. Yeah, I'm with you. I knew absolutely nothing about this show. Everybody and their dog was talking about it. I was like, all right, let me get into it. You know, I love superheroes. I love the cartoon. Just a grown child at heart, so I had to check it out. And to be quite honest, I was not feeling it after the first episode. I watched it and I was like, I was ready to check out after the first episode. I was like, just I don't know, it might not be for me, but as you know, once you get towards the end, you're like, let me just give it one more try. And we were just talking about it. How about you, fandom? What do you think about it right out of the gate?
Same thing. I just thought it was a regular, typical, like superhero cartoon thing on Amazon Prime, but it kind of took me off because in the beginning it was like, rated 18 plus. So I'm like, okay. So it's kind of like, I'm guessing to like the boys type of thing. And the next thing you know, that last scene in like episode one, it seems like, because I only got to episode three and we're only talking about episode one and two, but it seems like within the very last scene of every episode, like something crazy or something begins to develop even more and more with the show. It is really pulling me in every single one.
Yeah, every single episode pulls you in a little deeper, and it's kind of weird how they do it because they do a cold open, and the cold open could last anywhere from like in episode one. I think the cold open went for like half the show, and then
Mm-hmm.
then it does like weird cold opens, and then it has endings, but then it has like extra scenes for endings, and it's trying to like do all the little tricks of the trade. So it had me double guessing at first. What's up, Christian Knowles? I see you out there. It had me double guessing at first, but then I don't know. Like I say, the more and more I see it, the more and more I get sucked into it. Hey, one family, everyone else in the chat just popping in saying watching Dodgers and drinking whiskey. Nothing wrong with that. You enjoy both of those. Have a good one with that, Christian. But yeah, this new show, I mean, everybody seems to be talking about it. Like I said, I didn't know that much. I have not read the comics, so I don't know any spoilers. I'm only as far. I have actually seen all, what is it, 5, 6 episodes that they've put on there. So I have seen it as far as they've shown, but I don't know anything about the comic characters. I don't know anything about the comic books. Like, I'm just going with what they're showing me. So I'm here for
In
the ride.
terms of comics, I know the creator or co-creator. I'm not sure if he created the whole thing or not. But Robert Kirkman, the same guy who did the Walking Dead comics, and I'm like, okay. The moment I saw that name, like, hold up, I gotta go on IMDb and check something else for a second, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Like, oh my gosh, I'm tempted to read it now. Like after season one, but at the same time, if they're going more seasons to this, like I don't even want to read it. I just want to wait till the series is over and then I'll double back because I don't want to be spoiled.
Right,
Like,
exactly, exactly. So yeah, I'm not up to date with what they are, and don't. I mean, it hasn't really spoiled anything because it hasn't opened anything up. I mean, the first episode kind of lets you know where you're at, and then the
mhm.
rest is kind of trying to figure out why everything is happening, as far as I can tell. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about and try to guess where we think it's going and what's happening. But I have seen all the ones that they've shown, but I have no idea where this series is going. And like I said, I haven't read it in the comics, so I don't know any spoilers. I know nothing about. I know his name's Omni Man, the main character. Well, the main character is Invincible, but his dad's Omni Man, and that's
Mhm.
about as it's in depth as the knowledge and the lore as I go with it. But yeah, this is gonna be a good one. We got Celebrity Bikini out there. Says just the roller coaster so far. Just opened it last night. Nice. Yeah, it is. I mean, up and down. And like I said, once I've seen all 6 episodes that they've aired. I really hated the first episode, but now that I've seen all 6 episodes, it's tied back in, and now I actually understand what they were showing us with the first episode. And do you feel like you're getting that feeling at all after two, or you still feel like you need some information?
Like when it comes to the Omni Man, I can't trust him. I can't trust him one bit. Because it's interesting because in the very first scene we got the Guardians facing the quote unquote twins, and I think is that the leader. looked near at Omni-Man. He gave him that weird look. And I'm like, what, you guys aren't friends or buddies or anything? Like, I got some like history. And then at the end of the episode, we get that scene. I'm like, hold up.
Right?
Something don't feel right here. Is this his own free will? Is he being controlled? Hmm.
That's one of the things we got to find out and talk about. Absolutely. Absolutely. Peter Griffin says, I only remember the important stuff. I don't remember the first episode, just the beginning or just the ending. Absolutely. That's the only thing really worth remembering. But like I said, once you've seen, like, I think they've shown us, what, 5, 6 episodes? They've shown us 5 episodes. And yeah, once you see all 5, I think I realized what the first one was trying to tell us. So I'm just going to touch on it. Like I said, no spoilers. I'm just going to touch on what I think what they were trying to get at and why they actually kind of needed that setup. So yeah, we're going to get into it. Let's just dive right in. This is the first episode of Invincible. It's called About Time. And the series opens up with 2 security guards letting us know exactly how worthless their roles are in a world full of superheroes. I mean, literally, what are you going to do as an everyday guy trying to go up with somebody with superpowers? Like, literally.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. That's what we gotta get, like a TV series on Disney Plus, where the police people are like, you know what? What can we do? You got these superpower individuals, running amok, or intelligent people who create powerful weapons and monstrosities. Like we can't really do much. We gotta wait for the Avengers to do everything. Like that's a TV series we actually need. There you go, Disney Plus. Let's go.
You
Pay
just
me.
gave me your next $1 million idea. Hit it. Peter Griffin calls Omni-Man Pops, so if I say Pops, don't mind me. Trying to take it back to another superhero show. My man Luke Cage, that was awesome. But I like how they like show them being basically just that worthless. As they're like too busy talking to like check the cars pulling up, they're just waving people through. I'm like, this is the White House, people. I'm like, no wonder they're having to rebuild it twice a year at this point.
Exactly. When they said that, I'm like, oh my gosh. And why is the president still living here?
Exactly. That's just nuts. I was just like, what? So while one of the guards is giving a heartfelt story about his stepson, the Mahler twins show up to kill the president. And the guard tries to shoot one of them in the back of the head, but their skin's bulletproof. So he can't help but to try again when the guy turns around and nails him right in the eye, which is exactly what I was thinking. Like, shoot that fool in the eye. But unfortunately, that doesn't work either. And again, it's just showing, like, what are you going to do in a world full of superheroes?
But it kind of worked because it did damage them, didn't it?
It
He
slowed him
shot him in
down,
the
yeah.
eye.
And then his brother's like, your eyes as replaceable as you are, clone. Like, they were just
Who was
dead.
the real clone, though? That's my question. At one point, they're like, "You're the clone. Wait, I'm the intellect." If we actually busted inside, that would have pretty much shown like who's the actual original. And they were just going back and forth. And I think even like later on within the series, when they appear again, it's like the same thing. They're still going back and forth as like who's the original. And even I
Exactly.
wouldn't even know who's like the original at this point because it seems like they're clones.
Well, yeah,
It's called like the Muller twins. So it's like, won't be surprised if the original died and then the clone just, create a new clone. So that's why he's kind of saying he's the quote unquote original. Like it just never ends.
absolutely. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, because once they implant the brains, they're both the exact same. So of course they both think that they're the real one. And I'm like, the original probably died off long ago, and clones would just keep cloning themselves over and over again. And that's one of the things I think they're going to have to touch on. But yeah, I think they're both clones, and that's what's kind of the joke about it, is because the main one probably got killed forever ago. But yeah, it's that's kind of insane. And right when the guard's about to say goodnight and one of the Mahler twins is about to put him to sleep, the Guardians of the Globe swoop in to save the day. And again, when I first watched this, I wasn't the biggest fan of this episode, but now after seeing more, like it's starting to all make sense why they had this scene in. And I believe the clue to what's going on in the overall series was kind of given right there. So I don't want to give away too much until we kind of get into episode 5 and a little bit farther when they explain more. But I think that show had a meaning because I thought it was pretty lame. I'm like, okay, superheroes teaming up, like okay. But now that I know what happens later and what they're talking about, I think that, and we'll touch on it a little bit towards the end of this episode, but I think it was just a big clue on what's going on.
Two things about this. One, I love the fact that all the members of the Guardian are played by cast members of The Walking Dead.
I didn't
You
even know
knew
that.
that? Yep. I literally, because when it was Robert Kirkman, I said I was looking up IMDb. I was scrolling down. I'm like, wait a minute. You have not only the Guardians, but you also have like the who's playing the main character, Mark Invincible. Like he's playing Glenn. You have the actress who's playing Maggie, who was playing the one that looked like Wonder Woman. So I'm like, oh shoot. Then you have Abraham, actor, he's playing one of the voices. Morgan, like, yeah, like a bunch of them. It was crazy. I'm like, wow, I guess he just did that because again, he wrote co-wrote the Walking Dead. And he probably asked him for a favor, like, hey guys, let's do the voice in. And little did they know they all end up dying.
He probably grabbed all his favorites from The Walking Dead and said, hey, I really enjoy working with you guys the best. I got this other idea. Let's do it. And they're like, hell yeah. We know this Walking Dead thing can't last forever. Let's make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just a new thing. Yeah, I love that. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Fandom bringing in that extra knowledge. But how lame is that fish character? Like, he just sprays you real hard with water. I was like, you can definitely tell who the weak link of this group is.
I was saying the same thing. I'm like, up against a powerful foe, it's like, what is he gonna end up doing here? Unless he plan on waterboarding him or something. But like, oh my gosh, it's like not much you can really much do. Like
I love
even
how
the
they
water benders in Avatar Last Bender seem more threatening than this guy.
I love how they lean into it. It's like, you're a fish, so unless we're battling somebody in water, it's like you really don't have a lot to do. So yeah, and then they try to, they give him his little parts and let him spray people here and there when they're beating him up. But I was like, yeah, we definitely know who the weak link is here. That was awesome. And how disrespectful was it of that boy's mom just busting in when he was on the throne? Like, I was like, does that bathroom door not have a lock? I was like, where are we going with this?
He don't pay the bills, DJ. So what do you expect? I remember one time he was taking a shower and someone just enters. I'm like, what the hell? And this is my mom. I'm like, really? Like, nope. You don't pay the bills, you don't get privacy.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, in a shower, one thing. I mean, at least you got something going, but you're just sitting there on the throne and mom just walks in doing it. I'm like, hey, I was with him. I was like, get out. What are you doing? This is weird. But we were immediately introduced to like everyday life at the home of a superhero. And the mom's all bummed because she thinks they're not going to make their breakfast date. And Invincible, it's the White House mom. It's kind of important because as we see that her husband and his dad is Omni-Man, and he had to run in and save the day at the White House. So he seems to be the superhero of all superheroes at this point.
I had to take a quick look because for a second I thought that, wait a minute, that was Omni-Man that policeman for a second? And because he was talking about him and his kid, but then I'm like, oh wait, no, that's two different characters.
Yep.
I like to see what's Omni-Man's actual his secret identity, his appearance. Because it seemed like he's just walking around his neighborhood with like no glasses. He just looks normal. So it's like if anyone takes like a quick look, they know his father is freaking Omni-Man.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, it's high school when we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but like Adam Eve, it's like she doesn't wear a mask or a hood or anything. She's walking around in high school. High school kids are the nosiest kids ever. Like, how are they not going to notice that one of their classmates is a superhero?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that didn't make sense to me. I was like, dude, a pretty girl like that, they're all going to be in love, have their little high school crushes. You're going to tell me not one of them was smart enough to put two and two together? Come on. That's crazy.
At least when it came to that one Guardian member, she had some type of, I don't know, it was like an amulet or jewel, whatever. That one moment she swallowed it, she changed her appearance. So at least that's smart. But I don't know.
Exactly. Something, or Battle Girl has a helmet or something, just something, like, just to not hide it at all and nobody put two and two together. Like, that's worse than Clark Kent. But the dad makes it bad, and we find out like all the kids of Viltrum get their powers by their 18th birthday, and Invincible is getting close to that, but he's also half human, so there's a chance that he may not get the powers at all. And oh man, can you imagine being in his shoes, being like half superhero?
Because the way how the flashback was, it was like when he turned 13, but then he was like getting close to 18 or so. So it's like at that point, I probably would have gave up or something. Like, dang, I thought this Omni-Man. I thought I was gonna be able to fly, have super strength, speed, something, and so far for all those years, nothing. I've been like, wow.
Oh, take it easy, Lindar. Thanks so much for stopping in. Hope to see you on the next one. And at school, Invincible shows that he's already a hero at heart. Like, as he can't stand back and just watch a bully harass other students. Like, what he didn't realize is that like the student was probably capable of saving herself. Like, he jumped in to save that girl who was quite capable of handling her own. But it kind of shows that he really is a superhero at heart, and he's not going to let the weak get picked on, even though that wasn't the situation in that case.
True, but hey, he got the latest attention now.
Absolutely, it seemed to work. It worked how he wanted it to. And later that night at work, it finally happens. His power kick in, and all of a sudden he's like super excited to tell his parents. But when his dad hears the news, he didn't seem so thrilled about it. You notice that?
Nope. Because the moment at first I thought, okay, is he just in shock that it finally happened? Because like I said earlier, at 13, when he hits puberty, it should have happened by now. But he seemed like he was like a late bloomer. But then the moment it happened, it was like his wife literally had to like kick him to like wake him out of it.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's like he seemed like he was happy. Like when he was talking to the mom earlier, he's like, by 18 you'll get it. Don't worry. Kind of being a dick about it. He's like, harsh, dad. And then all of a sudden he gets it, and all of a sudden he's looking kind of side eye about it. Like that's kind of weird.
And then at least we got an answer to that, like within that same episode.
Feel that. And so the dad says we can start training tomorrow, and Invincible's too excited to sleep. He remembers back when his dad first told him about like the truth of who they were, and he said that then he volunteered to be Earth's sole protector. And I wonder if that has anything to do with what kind of happens later. So we have to figure out about that. And then just like with any teenager, like that just inherited powers, like of course he's not going to be able to sleep that night when he knows he just got these powers and he's training tomorrow. So he's not trying to wait till tomorrow. He heads up to the roof and he's ready to try out that flying now. Wouldn't you do the same thing?
Of course.
Like who's waiting?
I would have been up all night just, practicing going anywhere in the world at this rate. I'd probably go to like, Pyramids of Giza, the Wall of China, something like one of these like great places to go visit. Absolutely. I have to pay X amount of money if I have to go on an airplane.
And what part of it did you think later that they were talking about when the dad was looking side-eye? Like, how come you think he might be looking side-eye about his kid getting the powers?
Didn't they explain like he didn't like kind of like want this life for him or something?
I don't remember that. I just remember him saying that he thought maybe that their life would be easier if he didn't get powers.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what it was. And
I kind of didn't really say why
though. Maybe that's we might actually get that answer because it could be like more into that we don't know. Even like Peter Griffin in the chat, he got a theory.
Really? He's like, what? I wonder if Omni-Man turns insane when their child gains powers. Interesting. I was, the thing that I thought about it is I was like, what if that's like something to do with because obviously he had to leave his home. And I think he's lying. First and foremost, I think he's lying about why he left his home. I think he might have done something to get kicked out or been evil. Or maybe it's some kind of thing like once you get your powers, there's only like able to be one superhero per planet. So once you get your powers, it's like an either you or me type situation. Like the praying mantis, like once they get pregnant, they eat the head off the male. It's like maybe this is that kind of situation. Like you can only have one hero per planet, and then they're going to have to fight it out, or one's going to have to leave situation. I was thinking maybe something like that.
Damn, getting dark here, man.
I was just like, well, we've already seen that things definitely get dark. This is not your average everyday cartoon. And it just, I kind of got that kind of vibe. Like, you got a battle, only one hero per thing. Like, we're going to talk about it some more. But just some of the things he says has me looking side-eye at him.
That or he wants to be like the only powerful individual on the planet. Because the way how they were talking within this episode, and I believe the next, like Omni-Man is like literally like the strongest individual on Earth compared to like every superhero there. So now if he has a son who now has abilities, it's like, okay, I kind of have competition here.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. That's why there can be only one type of situation. You just can't have two ultimate alphas in the same realm. So he had to leave. He's not
versus Godzilla.
I'm telling you, that's how it is. Are they going to be able to stay together? I don't know. But yeah, Peter Griffin says one goes insane when they get a son. Or maybe he felt the Guardian group was a threat to his son. See, and that's what my kind of thing, that's what I was kind of thinking is, like I said, he said he's the sole protector. That means he wants to be protecting Earth by himself. He doesn't want all these other superheroes. So, yeah, I think it could be some kind of situation like that, too.
And they mentioned he doesn't like groups at all. And then for years, they've been trying to have him be part of the Guardians. But he was like, no. Like, he doesn't answer to that old white guy who we see in episode 2.
The director or whatever. Yeah, it could be. Yep, I don't know. That's kind of the direction I'm heading in and think where it's going. But like I said, I know nothing about nothing with this. I'm just along for the ride at this point. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Dang, I want to know. I probably, uh, what would it be?
Tough, right?
Part of me at one point was like, let me read minds, but when I saw True Blood and see how Sookie Stackhouse was able to read minds and crap, I'm like, nah, I don't want that anymore.
Drive you nuts. Yeah.
Yep.
If you could turn it on and off, maybe. But yeah, if you couldn't and you're just constantly hearing inside people's heads, you'd lose your shit. There's no way. That is tough though. You're like wondering, like, if I could have any superpower, what would it be? Like, I don't
I'm
know. Like,
probably greedy, so I'll be like, if I have the ability to, like, just touch one person and like gain their ability or just like at least one of their talents, but not completely take it away from them, I'll probably have that. Like if someone's good at basketball, I could just touch them, then I'll just be as good as them. Or if they speak a different language, I can certainly speak that language. Something of that magnitude.
that'd be intense. He's like, I want the power that gives me all powers. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Oh man, when his dad punched him though, like that tough love, or was that his dad just being a dick and losing his cool for a second, wanting to show off his own brute strength?
Now that was tough love because he made an excellent point. Like when you become a hero and you got all these powers, great power, great responsibility, you're gonna be in front of someone who doesn't give a damn.
And we kind of see that as the show goes on. Like from what I've seen, this kid gets his ass kicked in almost every fight.
Mm-hmm.
So superhero powers or not, he's got a lot to learn and a lot to get on with.
A wise man once said, "Nut up or shut up."
When they get home, the dad snaps on the mom. She asks, like, what's gotten into you? And he says he wonders if they wouldn't have been better off if he had never gotten his powers at all. And like I said, I was just like, that really made me wonder why he said that. Like, what is
See now, look at that seat. It's like, is he just being like, worried about his son or worried about something else?
Yeah, it seems like
That's
there's something
tough.
a little deeper on his mind to me. But back in school, he shows he still has a pretty good head on his shoulders. Like when he's dealing with that bully, he just lets that bully punch himself out instead of like putting him to sleep, which he obviously could have done. So it seems straight away he really does kind of have a hero's head on his shoulders.
Like, would Peter Parker do that? When Flash was just like bullying him, did he fight back? Or he just allowed it to take in the abuse?
Exactly. Or just show him how fast you are and just make him miss every punch. That's pretty sweet. But it's funny, like just how like I was like you just said, that's what I had written next. Like it's funny, like just how in Spider-Man, his first hero suit was pretty much of a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Calling back to Spider-Man, I was like, I like how they touched on that. And speaking of jokes, how great was that when he like asked the criminal that he was just stopping, like if he had any good ideas for a hero name.
It's like again from like Spider-Man, it's like the wisecracking jokes that he says like as he's like taking down the villain.
Oh, it was amazing. I love that part. Like, were you feeling just the "hit me, dad" monologue? Like, was that a little over cheesy, or was that I don't know? That seemed cheesy to me when he's like, "Just hit me, dad. You can do it. Just hit me. I want to show you." I was like, "Come on, man, really?"
Oh my gosh, it was. I think what was it the next scene or so where he was like still like practicing and his mother was like go inside because he got like school tomorrow and he was like make me. I'm like oh man, this must be a white family. A white family. Because if I said that to my mother, she wouldn't even care if I had superpowers or not.
Oh
She would
no!
try to put me 6 feet under.
I was about to say the shoe's coming off at that point. It's like, what'd you say? It's like, oh no, you didn't. Yeah, mama's not going to play in that situation. And then she just talks it out. I was like, ooh, you got a nice mom. Yep. That is not how it would go. But then it goes right from that to like you were talking, the mother's son and mommy, I'm not good enough. And I was like, to the way you talked to her, you're lucky you didn't get smacked. But he was so anticipating getting his powers. Like, I get it being a little overwhelming, but he just seems to have some extra biatch genes in him to me. I don't know. Something seems
again, he made like one good point that being the son of Omega Man, he have a bunch of big shoes to fill in. And then he was like, oh, now I'm kind of like you. I'm like, what? His mom? I'm like, really, man? Like, that's like too. So I'm like, damn. But hey, he has to become his own person.
Absolutely. So then he plays around and he plays like some around the world catch with his dad, who gives him some encouraging words and all is well again. And he even came up with a hero name, after that. And he gets his new suit and flies around town breaking it in. Meanwhile, all the Guardians of the Globe get a call on their emergency watches. And when they get back to their headquarters, they found out that none of the crew actually made the call. And then out of nowhere, Omni-Man attacks and ends up killing the whole group. And I was like, do we have any idea why he would do this?
Neither do I. At one point, I'm like, okay, so he's kind of like Homelander now. So pretty much Amazon now has the voice of the Homelander and Omega Man with, Invincible. Like, oh my gosh, like I thought this man was okay. And then I literally, as I'm watching this, I'm like, wait a second. So literally when the Guardians were fighting, and I guess like that leader was like looking at Omni Man like weirdly, he kind of like side-eyed him. I'm like, again, what history they had. But then they're like, oh, maybe he is under someone's control or something. But then they're like, hey, it's either him or us. And it's like, it's us.
Celebrity Bikini just says it's because he's a dick. Oh, now we get to get a Homelander versus Omni-Man battle. Oh, I don't know who would win that. That'd be pretty tight. I'd love it. I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of why, we definitely see after this massacre that we know that this is not going to be your average everyday cartoon. Like, this is going to be the nitty gritty of it. This is going to get down.
And then it was interesting. He just like collapsed on the floor. So a moment when I saw that, I'm like, okay. So when people see the scene of the crime, they're not going to think that it was him who did it. They're going to think that either someone attacked or something of that magnitude. Like they wouldn't side-eye it. And that's what kind of pretty much happened in the second episode.
And I mean, that's exactly what he was going to have to do because, I mean, he's obviously the strongest person on that planet. And if somebody walked in and took out the entire group, the number one group of heroes, basically, he's going to be like number one suspect because he's like one of the only people that could have done it. So it was smart for himself, I think, to put himself there like he got attacked too.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little bit. Go ahead.
And then it was like, oh, wait, you want to wrap up episode 1 or going into episode 2?
We're going to wrap up. Well, this is wrapping up episode 1.
Okay.
So, yeah, basically, just a quick spoiler alert. I think he killed this group of heroes because they were all becoming like a well-oiled machine. I mean, they were working just a little too well together. And just like when Omni-Man tells like those other alien invaders that we're going to talk about in the next episode, this world isn't yours to conquer. Like, he wants to rule it, and he doesn't want any competition, I think. Like, I think he wants to take over the world. He wants to be number one. And I think, yeah, that maybe when his son got the powers, that's what kicked him in to take all these other guys out. But yeah, it's definitely. But I think it's like, and I also think everything he's been saying about him and his race is a lie. When he had to talk about it with his son and what he's told his wife, I don't think he's been honest about where he came from and why he left there.
After hearing this, I can't trust Ami man for anything. Not a single word. I won't be surprised he even loves his damn wife and kid. Is it all just an experiment?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he does seem to love his wife, and I mean, he kind of puts up with more than he probably ever has to. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think they seem to make. We're talking about it as it goes on, but it seems like they seem to make a big deal about hero teams working together because they're so much better and work. You know, they're more dangerous and more efficient when they actually all work together. And we kind of get that a little bit later in this next episode. We'll talk about it, how not everybody has that. And I think Omni-Man saw how good when he went to the White House and saw how good that team worked together and how efficient they were. He's like, okay, this could be a problem. I need to take them out before they get any better.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm going with it. That's what I think's happening. But that was pretty much episode 1, and then it jumps right into number 2, Invincible episode 2, Here Goes Nothing. And it opens up with the guard from the White House and his son on their trip to England, and it looks like he's made it out just with a broken arm out of that situation, so he's lucky to get away with his life after shooting the Mauler twin in his eye. True. And like, but what was up with that, like, opening with all the exploding ketchup burgers?
I guess it's some type of vegan protest or whatever.
Is that what it was?
I hope so, because this seemed like out of place. Like, why this episode we're going back to that policeman and that and his son that he was talking about? Oh, we're gonna go like on a vacation or whatever. I'm like, why we're going back to this group? There's something that we just don't know about them yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if I'm watching episode 4, 5, or 6, and I see them again, they better like step in a vat of toxic waste or something to get some power. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, that was just crazy. I was like, what was this? But it was a nice segue with all those ketchup packets looking all bloody, and then they segue into the bloody battle scene. I was like, that was a pretty cool segue, but maybe that's the only reason it was there. I don't know. It was wild. But the director looks none too pleased that his best set of heroes just got exterminated.
To the point that he was trying to bring them back to life. And I was like, wait a second, you can at least try to bring. I was hoping like one of them was gonna be brought back to life just to say like who was it who actually did it to them, and like drop the bomb like, oh, well, it was Omni Man. Then I've been shocked, but nope, not a single one of them survived.
No, yeah, he made sure none of them came back, and he got ruthless with it. It was just like when he started squeezing the Flash's head, I was like, is he really gonna? Is that gonna? Oh, just popped it like a grape. I was like, my
And
goodness.
then that war woman, he just got a freaking weapon, just like caved in the fish guy's
Oh,
skull.
dude, snapped her neck around clean sideways backwards, just all Exorcist style. Just what? Yeah, it got morbid. It was awesome. But the mom's nervous. Her husband didn't come home last night, and just as Invincible's trying to calm her down, they get met at the door by couple government agents, and they get taken to the government lab hospital and see Omni Man is in pretty rough shape. And then they hear the news that he's the lone survivor of the brutal attack. So that's got to instantly. I mean, once you love him, you're like, it's because he's the strongest. But anybody outside the family's got to be looking sideways at that.
Exactly. Like who else is able to do that? Tommy, man.
Yep. The timing couldn't have been worse, but it looks like there's another attack on the city, and the director's horribly understaffed, but looks like our newest hero is up for the challenge. And once he's in the battle, he quickly sees what real war is like, and as people are being disintegrated right before his eyes, he kind of starts geeking out and seeing the reality of it all. He puts up a valiant effort, but is quickly in over his head, and just in the nick of time, when it looks like he's about to get squashed, another superhero shows up, and looks like there are all kinds of superheroes in this world.
The Teen Titans, basically. When I saw this, I'm like, is this Teen Titans or no? Doom Patrol. There we go. Because you see the robot guy, I'm like, wait a minute, they would probably be happy about this team.
Oh, they're biting from all sorts of stuff. Absolutely, yeah, it is absolutely crazy.
Oh, pretty much happy because at that point, it's like he was just shaken up, like you said. All people dying left and right. He's trying to fight, but can't. At least he was just trying, as a true hero, was trying to save that one old lady. Right. I respect that.
And I mean, you got to remember, this is just a teenage kid. He doesn't know about war and real battles, like just the reality, all that right in your face. That would be kind of gnarly and a little overwhelming. But they seem to be getting overwhelmed, and when the enemy aliens all start aging at warp speed and dying, it's like they finally are able to not all their new superheroes. Because, I mean, their name is Teen Team. So, I mean, they don't sound like the greatest superheroes. And they even make mention of it. It's like, hey, we're everybody's fourth favorite team. That's something to be pumped up. But it's I can't wait to see some of the other superheroes. And I mean, they kind of touch on it later. But, yeah, that would just be crazy living in a world full of superheroes like that. Like, what chance does a normal guy have at doing anything?
I hope I get an ability. Because it's like the same thing in this manga/anime called My Hero Academia, where at one point people just start getting abilities, but not everyone does. So you're gonna pretty much be that odd guy out and be like, damn, everyone around me got superhero abilities, and I'm just human.
Right? It's like, what chance do I have to do anything?
And if you don't got money like Iron Man or Batman, like you can't do nothing still.
I'm with you, Peter Griffin. That robot guy is suspect. He seems like he's all cool and in charge and one of the good guys, but we don't know. He's definitely doing some shady stuff on the back end. So we're going to talk about that as it goes on. He's still pretty clean in these first two episodes, but I'm definitely looking side-eyed at the robot for sure. We don't know if he's up to good or evil, or we're not really sure what his game plan is.
We don't trust robots post Westworld, DJ. Let's put it that way.
I'm telling you, I've seen Westworld. I don't trust none of them. I've seen what can happen. But yeah, they seem to be getting overwhelmed, and the aliens start to warp, dying, and like the ones still alive flee back through the wormhole that they just came from. And yeah, it looks like they were getting ready to get warped. Just luck out on that one. But how about when Invincible leaves like that huge trail of blood all the way through the hospital? Like, this is a gruesome cartoon so far. Like, Mark is not feeling much like a superhero at the moment, and I'm not feeling like this is a superhero movie. This is gory as shit.
I'm loving every minute of it. Like, if I want to see anything typically, I click on CW or I go on Cartoon Network. But no. I'm loving this goriness. I'm loving the blood, trying to make it realistic as possible. It is truly like I'm actually reading a regular comic book because that's something like that would happen. Like Peter would like trail of blood going home, and then Aunt May would be freaking out, or even like Clark going home, and I forgot what was his guardian mother's name. Martha. Oh my gosh, how could I forget Martha after Batman versus Superman? So yeah, so it's kind of felt authentic just seeing that.
Absolutely. Yep, I'm Team Human all the way. Like I said, that would be wild. Like I after watching this show, you start to get more of a feeling about how Zemo's feeling about things. Like you just can't have superheroes like that just running around. It's just not right. It's like not right. You got no shot. But Mark sees Eve at school, like we were talking about, and realizes she's the hero that saved him. And like I was talking about earlier, high school kids are just hella nosy. Like, how would it be that easy to conceal her identity and still attend school like it's nothing? It's like the fact she doesn't even wear a mask just blows me away with that.
I have no idea.
But Mark makes a new friend that makes him feel better about it all, and she also invites him to like come hang out with the rest of Team after school, and now he's all stoked because he's got new powers. He's finally making superhero friends. Things seem to be on the uptick for our man Mark.
Man, Mark got everything going for him right now. Abilities, got a hot girl going after him.
Couple of them.
This is crazy. I wish I could be Mark right now. Minus being back in school. I don't want to go back to school. I'm done with high school. I can't with that.
I mean, they make Peter Griffin says hidden in plain sight, and she actually makes mention of that. She's like, people see what they want to see. So the easiest thing, nobody expects a girl to be a hero, so I can just walk here freely, and nobody even expects it. People see what they want to see, but I don't know.
Nah, because
if I saw
imagine like
that beautiful girl and I was going to her high school, I would have put 2 and 2 together. I'm just saying.
Exactly, especially if it was like nerds, hardcore nerds who actually like look at these superheroes every single day. Wouldn't it be like, wait a minute, you look exactly like this chick? It's uncanny.
I'm with you, Celebrity Bikini. I was one of those. I absolutely loved high school. It was
your
amazing.
high school was great. Mine was terrible. I despised it.
Yeah, I played all the sports. I loved high school. I had a great time. Some of the best times of my life. It was fantastic. But Robert and the director try to make sense of what happened and why the Flaxons were invading. And the only way our heroes won is because the Flaxons were super aging in our environment. So
that was crazy because when they were aging, I'm like, what's going on here? And I literally had to rewind it to see if anyone like triggered alien device or something. But then we learned, okay, because it's just how like our air or just our Earth kept aging them. And I'm like, wow, I have never experienced that ever in any alien type movie, show, or book, where because they're on our planet, we're aging. And then near the end of the episode, as we're going to talk about, even when Omega Man went to their planet, he too was aging. So it's something that's weird.
Absolutely. And I like how they touch on that. Like, not every atmosphere is going to be the same. It's going to have different effects on different body structures. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So Mark and Eve go out on a fly date, which ends up back at Teen Titan headquarters and Team. Robot asks if they can count on him in the future. And did they basically just recruit him onto the team?
Apparently. Because they see his potential.
Absolutely. But then the dad doesn't seem to be a big fan of teams. So it's like, how's that going to work out? Because dad wants to train him to be by himself. And we already see the dad is no fan of any other team so far. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But 3 days go by, and guess who's back? They also seem to be like new and improved. The Flaxons seem to once again be getting the best of our team, and that is until Invincible sees the girl that he's crushing on about to be layered, and Invincible screams, "I said no!" and finds out he's got another power he didn't even know he had. And I'm still not sure I understand what that power is, but it is potent.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, when do you get laser eyes? I need to know. That's the only thing that's like really differentiating them from Superman as we see so far is like laser eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Because these guys got it all. They definitely got the strength, the speed, and everything else, but unbelievable. But this gives the robot enough time to analyze the Flaxons' new bracelets, which are keeping them young and alive. So the team figures it out, and they start to destroy it and basically gain a true victory this time, even though even Rexplode was impressed. Like, because actually last time they just ran because they were dying out. This time, like, they actually kind of stomped those bracelets and actually won the fight this time. So That was kind of cool to actually see our heroes get a real win.
But I did enjoy or saw that because, well, after the first fight, they went back, then returned after what? Well, there for us it was 3 days. For them, it's like 30 years. And then when they came back, they just kept improving. Like they learned from their mistakes.
Exactly. And again, they're able to do that because they're like, how could they do it so fast? Like again, like you just said, 3 days for us, 30 years for them. Their time works a lot different. So they've got a lot more time to improve on stuff. And before he can celebrate the win, he basically gets a call and says he has to go. Looks like his dad is back out of a coma and well enough to return home. And on the way out, Omni-Man stops at the cage and really rudely like demands his costume back. He says it's classified and he wants it back. Now, go get it. And like he obviously doesn't want anybody to check it, but if he was the only survivor of Earth's #1 hero team being obliterated, wouldn't they have checked his suit by now for clues?
That and also it's really at one point I was like, wait, that can't be like his like suit from home, because that other guy created his suit. So it's like, what's so special about it that he's just dying to get his suit back?
Oh, because it's got all the blood and DNA of all the other heroes on it, and they'd be
Yeah,
able
but
to
like you said, like people would have like looked at it for like clues and stuff by now.
Yeah, exactly. There's just no way. So back home in training, and Mark finally hits dear
Oh,
old
wait
dad.
a minute. I
Uh-oh.
think I know why, but I'm not sure if they introduced a certain devilish creature yet. Have they? In
Yeah,
this episode too?
yep, he's been in because he was on there in the first one. Yep.
Okay, so if anything, maybe he has to like touch his suit to actually see like what actually happened and who was the one who actually did the fighting. Because when he was touching like the blood and all this other stuff and pieces, he keeps seeing like a silhouette, but not the individual who was actually, killed them all. So maybe if he actually touched Omega Man's suit, boom, he would have caught him red-handed.
Absolutely. He would have had all the facts that he needed to know. Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. And back home in training, and Mark finally hits dear old dad with an uppercut. And dad seemed like he was about to return the favor tenfold when Mama San called up. And what was Invincible doing? Like, he wasn't even trying to avoid his dad's punch. His dad was like, oh, yeah, you got to be able to take one. And Invincible, instead of getting ready to duck it, he was like getting ready to just take it with a win. I'm like, you don't want to take your dad's punch when he's mad. It's like, you better use some of that super speed and then avoid.
Exactly.
I'm like,
At
God
this
dang.
rate, his whole face would have been gone.
Oh, I'm telling you, yeah, dad was not happy about getting hit. The director asked Nolan for a favor to fight the incoming threat headed to Earth, and Mama-san says, no way, you just got home. And Mark says he'll do it, and his dad agrees, saying the threat isn't that big a deal. So Invincible heads up to space to ward off the intruder, only to find out that he's a coalition officer there to make sure that the planet's in good hands and safe. Which, I mean, if it sounds like he'd already been there once before, so why wouldn't it still be safe? But I guess since he got that call and messed up the 2 planets, that he just goofed that one up on him. But yeah, that was kind of a cool little cameo by Seth Rogen.
Crazy. At one point, I'm like, do they know each other or something? Well, they were talking. And then when he was like, oh, wait, time out or so, he's like, okay, time out. I'm like, what? Or go in the corner. And then he's like, oh, I'm supposed to be for like Earth and with a U, not an E. I'm like, what? So like, who's the actual person supposed to like come to Earth and check things out? Was like he or she killed
Well, it
by
sounds like
Omega Man?
he'd already been there once and fought the dad, and the dad proved worthy, so he took back off. And now all of a sudden he thought Earth was asking again, like maybe the dad was gone or something happened, so he's coming back to check it, and now he sees the son. So yeah, a little bit of a paperwork error there. But the
Even
two other
then, like eventually two of them would have came, because the one guy from Earth with a U, and the person with an E would eventually have came. So it's weird.
what do you mean now?
Because remember, the guy said that he was supposed to come here because he was assigned to the planet Earth, but with a U, not an E.
Or Eber, yeah, Urath or whatever. I think
Yeah.
he was supposed to go to a different planet, and he
So
just
eventually, two of those guys would have came to Earth. One who came to the wrong planet, which was Earth, and the one who was actually assigned to Earth.
hmm.
So it's weird.
Yeah, I just took it as like he'd already been to Earth, and basically the dad passed the test, so Earth was off it, and then now he got it again. He's like, "Oh, I got to go back to Earth." He's like, "Oh no, I was supposed to be at Erath, and he messed it up." I didn't think there was another person coming to Earth. Like I think that was already done already, but maybe I don't know.
Because if so, Omega Man could have corrected this a long time ago.
Yeah, because it sounds like Omni-Man already beat him once and sent him on his way. So the reason he came back was just a computer error, it seemed like, technical error. But who knows? I'm sure he's going to be back. He says, as long as I don't get fired, maybe we'll meet again. So that tells me that he's probably going to be back. And yet, when they had to chat to find out that he was on the wrong planet, the two part ways, and something tells me like this isn't the last we're going to be seeing of Alan the Alien. So the director asked Nolan one more time to explain the night of the massacre, and something just isn't adding up, and no one has ever seen Omni-Man lose before. So everybody's got questions about everything. Nothing's adding up, and they're all tripping. And it seems like the director has some suspicions about that night. Do you think he suspects Omni-Man of foul play?
100%, but he's in denial. Like, you really need Ziva, like you said earlier, to walk come through and be like, see how you put your superheroes on your pedestal. They gotta be stopped. They gotta be removed.
Oh, I'm telling you. Yep, that was Seth Rogen playing Alan the Alien. Absolutely. Boy, I heard his voice. I knew that immediately. Like, he has a very distinctive voice to me. But back at school, and things are looking up, and Amber gave the bully her number to give to Mark, and he's ecstatic, that is, until he gets the call that the aliens are back. And as they approach, Robot informs the team that there are too many of them, and with the new suits, they are too advanced to defeat. The team says, we're not nuking the city. They want to give it a try and save it. So they're like, Robot, who do you think you are? We don't do that. I love when they gave a call out, like, who do you think we are? That whatever team that they said. I was like, just cap it on other teams. It's like, no, we're heroes. We're about to go do this.
And again, you side eye these robots because this robot was like, oh, let's nuke it. Like, no other thing, no calculation. Always cracking the numbers and say, okay, you should do this, that, and the third. But the first thing you want to do is just nuke the damn city.
Hey,
Come on, robot.
He ran the numbers and he ran the calculation. He's like, you know what? We're not going to win this. We need to just say this city's done and get rid of these guys. I mean, he was just going with the numbers. He's a robot. He's not supposed to have feelings, and yet somehow he seems like he does. So it's so weird. It's a lose-lose for the director. I doubt they can just put Omni-Man in jail. Exactly. What are you going to do? The strongest man in the world? Like, literally, what could you do? I mean, he's going to do whatever he wants, and I think that's going to be kind of the whole reason behind all this. Like, I think that's his point. Like, this is my world, and I'll do what I want. Like, when he told those other aliens later, like, yeah, we're going to talk about it. But I think that has a lot to do with what's going on. So instantly, they're in bad shape, and the alien leader has it bad for Invincible, and he goes in on him hard and early, and the team tries to get there to help him, but like the robot said, there is just way too many of them. And then the alien invader says, die, as Mark gasps for the words help, and just when it seems like it's going to be lights out for our new hero, here comes dear old dad to save the day. So it's like, did you know Omni-Man was going to end up being there to save him?
They were getting their ass handed to them to the point I'm like, yo, if he does not come, someone's going to die from this group.
Oh, man, yeah, these new aliens weren't playing. So Omni-Man has no problem at all just wiping out the aliens and sends them all fleeing once again. But he's not having it. He's not about to let them go just so they can return again even stronger. And as the alien leader's yelling at his men to get back out there and fight, Omni-Man decides this is as good as time to any to just finish this. He flies and punches the alien back into from where he came, and Omni-Man goes too. So that was kind of a trip to see him go through that wormhole. It's like, whoa, did he just go too far?
Yeah, like, how are you going to get back? Are you going to fly home or something? But then, nope. He pretty much just decimates that entire planet. Then has like a huge boulder, and it was like, you better open back up that portal and let me go, or you die. But as soon as he leaves, he literally drops the boulder right on top of them.
Yeah, no, he didn't give nothing.
Just seeing that, I'm like, nah, I can't get behind this guy. Because that's something like Superman would not do. At
just
all.
Decimating it up. Yeah, but if that planet keeps coming in trying to take your home planet over and killing everybody, I mean, you got to do something.
You beat the hell out of them, and then they'll open up the portal, and then they'll be like, okay, we're done. We're done.
Maybe. They didn't seem like they were taking no for an answer.
Because you don't be seeing Superman kill people.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of seeing people, the team freaked out when they found out Omni-Man is Invincible's dad. They're like, he's your dad? Just superheroes looking up to the main superhero. I thought that was kind of cool. And Invincible's freaking out that his dad just flew into another dimension to fight all the other aliens, and his mom just calms him down and says, it's nothing more than a regular Tuesday. Your dad will be fine. Which would be kind of a trip. I was worried about your dad just fighting just the inevitable, but coming out on top. Like that would just be so weird having a dad with superpowers, always just fighting terrible things. That would be kind of horrifying.
Like the first few times, and then you realize that he's pretty much the strongest thing on
Like,
the
yeah, he's
planet.
got
You're like,
this.
oh, he good.
The strongest thing on all planets from what we've seen. And on their own planet, Omni Man says straight away, "You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer." Like that's kind of a weird thing to say. Like the way he said Earth isn't yours to conquer makes me think that it's his to conquer.
Mm-hmm. He should be saying something like, "Oh, Earth is protected."
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, Earth isn't yours to conquer is just a weird way to say it. Like that kind of threw me. So I was like, again, looking at him totally side-eyed. But nonetheless, he destroys their whole planet and every living thing on it. And when he heads home, like he has a full-grown beard. Is that because of how fast time moves on their planet, or did he have to take the long way home?
And that's what I loved about it, because again, it touches back on the fact that time is just different from all these planets.
Absolutely. Oh, it's a lose-lose for the director. Yeah, an emotional robot is even more dangerous. That's probably very true. His only kryptonite is probably his son. Yeah, we got to figure out what's going on with that because, yeah, there is definitely something going on. He is not a fan of his son getting powers, which you think he'd be super proud and happy about it, but this doesn't seem to be the case for that. Pops fucked their world up. Yeah, their world is no more. But again, you keep coming to my home turf, you got to go. I'm not going to let you just keep coming back. That was just too much. So yeah, it's just weird the way he said like it's not yours to conquer, like it's his to conquer, and this is my world. And I get it. Maybe if I'm the protector, don't bring it here. But it didn't seem like it was a protector. It seemed like he's ready to conquer the world. Never everybody bow down to him.
You would say that, Peter, but I don't know. Omni Man is the type of guy where I'm like, would he kill his son though? If they
Maybe.
use him against him, would he kill him?
I think so. The way they've shown it, I think he'd do it without hesitation. I think it's going to be a him or me situation. There can be only one. But then they have a nice family hug, and the news is on reporting that the Guardians of the Globe are dead, and fade to black. But every episode seems to have an extra scene, and this one has Damien Darkblood telling the director that no one else but Omni Man and the Guardians were at the scene of the crime, which means the killer has to be one of them, and the only one still alive is Omni Man. So things are definitely all pointing towards Omni Man being the one who did all this, and that's got to be having people freaked out. But the director doesn't want to hear it. He says that if the demon utters those thoughts again, he'll send them back to hell himself. But then he puts a team on the Grayson's home, so he says it's because the killer's still out there. Do you believe that?
Of course, and it's Omni Man.
He's like, I ain't buying that. He's like, he knows it's Omni Man, but like they were saying,
He needs more evidence, and who knows? Maybe if he actually had that costume, it would have been like, boom, I now know who it is. Because it seems like he was touching like almost every item, and that item probably belonged to that one person who's getting killed by Omni Man. But again, it was always silhouetted out. So if he actually touched Omni Man's suit, maybe it would actually show Omni Man pretty much killing everyone. That's what I'm thinking.
oh, of course. Like the way he touches blood and can see the scene. Yeah, if he touches the suit, he's definitely going to know it's him. Absolutely. And that's why Omni Man wanted it out there so fast. He's like, he didn't want anybody to be able to break it down on him. But it's going to come to a head. We already see. And yeah, it's so hard to get through this, but I think we did pretty good at not spoiling it. It's hard. Like now, it's like I said, I've seen all 5 episodes, so I'm trying not to go too far into it. But
I've only seen 3. I'm trying not to even touch on the third one.
right, yeah, I know, right? So it's like hard to dip back and forth, and we're definitely going to get back into episode 3 and 4 next Saturday. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, I'm really getting into it. Yeah, we got some serious questions, but yeah, I don't think Peter Griffin was saying I don't think he's going to kill Mark. I don't think he's going to kill him either. I don't think he's.
I'm 50-50. I'm 50-50. Like he's not gonna do it because he's something. He's like, got no choice. Done.
I mean, just if you go with the fact that the show's called Invincible, not Omni Man, so we got to stick with our hero, right?
I mean, he's gonna try to kill him, but again, he won't. Like he said, yeah, it's still named after him.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, what do you think?
This is a dark freaking series, and they actually gonna kill him.
That's true. It is. It is a good one. It's dark. So, what are you thinking so far after the first 2? Now you said you've seen 3. What do you think of the first 3 episodes?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see this whole mystery of okay, why on earth did Omni Man kill the Guardians? What's up with this world and not realizing these people have terrible secret identities? because you can spot a superhero's like true self, like instantly. Like, come on now, people.
They're not so much as wearing glasses. Yeah, it's crazy. You think it's going to be you think there's any chance that it comes in that maybe he was being mind controlled by another entity and it was something that made him do that? You think there's any chance of that?
If so, they better have a good story behind it. Because I'm more intrigued if it's just Omni-Man going dark.
Yeah, Peter Griffin seems to be like he's going insane kick. Like maybe having this kid getting powers is like, maybe now he's up, now it's the new kid's time, and so maybe he is losing it or going crazy or something. Like it has some effect on him with his kid getting his powers. And maybe that is it, and that's why, people have to leave or they send the kids away.
You know what this reminds me of? Hancock, the Will Smith, when he was like a superhero type thing, and he had abilities. And the moment where it was like him and his people, where if they were closer to each other, they would become like weaker. It could be something of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Where that because they're closer, something like we are saying, like because Marcus gains abilities, something triggers with his father. It's something of that magnitude.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. He said he may have had a good reason they were plotting or he's working with someone devious. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's I don't know. I like that going insane, or I like that, like maybe his son's got powers, so now it's maybe weakening him or affecting him in some way that it's not going to work out and those two can't be on the same planet together. I actually love that. I think that's great. But I mean, he seems to be training him, so he's trying to do the right thing. But again, I think he might be training him to send him off to some other place because this world's mine. You're going to have to go find your own. Say, wait a minute, I was actually born here. This one's mine, Pops.
Oh, he's training him to actually be an actual challenge because he has like no competition whatsoever.
Yeah, was that him just being bored going in and waxing the top team? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's more like that whole scene seems so ridiculous and dumb to me when they went to go save the president. And like the fish, like, you go upstairs, I'll go down. Or like, come on, this is ridiculous. But as we go on, I think that's what they're trying to show us is the number one team was working well together. And we'll touch on that like next week with the next two episodes coming back. But I think that's going to have a lot to do with it. Absolutely. Hancock was an instant classic. I gotta love the Will Smith, the drinking superhero. He was like the first boy from the boys. That's how I'd be with him with some stuff. It's like, I'm just here to kick it. What? Like what Zemo's doing and eliminating the competition. Absolutely. I think that's definitely what it might be. I think, like I said, this is his world. It's not anybody else's world to conquer. Omni-Man wants Earth all to himself. So I kind of think that's the gist of where we're going. Like I said, I didn't like it right out of the gate, but now it's got me hook, line, and sinker, so I'm ready to go. I can't wait to get some more reveals and see what's what. And I think, and doing 2 episodes at a time, we should be able to catch up. Like in 2 weeks, we'll be all caught up and everything.
And it's good so far with those 2 episodes. It was under an hour.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Just under an hour, and like a lot of that's just like with Falcon and Winter Soldier. They're putting a lot of stuff on the tail end of that's not really the show. Absolutely. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get into it. Quick trivia question on this one. What was the name of the bully at school that beats up Invincible?
Damn. Is it Zach?
No, it is not. No, it is not. If you know the answer to that, write it down below in the comments if you're watching this later. If you know it in the chat, throw it in there. What is the name of the bully at school that beats up Invincible? And then for the second episode, who did the bully at school say told him that Amber liked him? Who did the bully at school say told him that Amber liked him?
Wasn't it Amber?
Nope. Amber's the girl that likes him. Amber is the one who actually likes our hero, Mark. But the bully at school said that Amber liked the bully. Somebody at school told the bully that Amber liked him.
Oh, I don't know.
Boom. If you know it, let us know down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for us this week. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Definitely loving this show. Hope everybody else is getting into it as much as we are. It's like no Mighty Ducks. No, Eve is not the name. Good guess. But Adam Eve is actually the superhero girl, and she is not the one that told the bully anything. I don't think she even talks to the bully. Absolutely good guess. So, yeah, you guys get to know those. Go ahead and leave those comments down below. Of course, we're going to be back on this Tuesday right around 6 o'clock Western, 9 o'clock Eastern, getting into the latest show of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So any last comments on this Invincible, what we got going so far?
I don't trust Omni-Man. I don't trust that robot. What else? Yeah, that's about it. Hopefully I can wake up with superpowers.
Oh, we got questions, and I'm sure they're going to answer them. Looking forward to seeing more shows of Invincible. So that's going to do it for us. Hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic weekend, and it only gets better from here. And until Tuesday night, you guys be easy.